This is Bryan Tamburrino, and you're listening to the Disruptive Consulting Podcast. It's my mission to help decision makers and business owners excel, so I'm bringing you some of the nation's top consultants and executives to break down the strategies that they've used to disrupt the average day-to-day process.
Who is your market?
Who is positive?
That's how do you typically reach their parents?
CEOs knew it wasn't working. That's why they just come in here. And she always comes up.
I cannot say enough great things about Sylvia. Guys, this is Bryan Tamburrino. Welcome to episode 10 of the Disruptive Consulting Podcast. Today, I will be bringing you insights from the dynamic world of consulting. I'll be talking about my transition from an independent consultant or a solopreneur to the director of a full-fledged consulting firm, staff, marketing plan, the whole 9 yards, and some of the monumental steps that I've taken. It's definitely been a test. It's definitely pushed me to my limits. It still does day after day, but ultimately it's helped me grow in more ways than I could imagine. More ways than I could have imagined since we were founded in November of 2017. It is now, if you're listening to this, it is June 7th, 2023, as I'm recording this episode. And it has been an adventure, to say the least. So I hope you could tune in. I hope you take something from this, the do's, the don'ts. I've got a few really solid tips plus some experience, and I hope you all enjoy. So as I mentioned, today we take a deep dive into the significant transition that so many consultants dream of, but few really navigate successfully, right? So we're talking about growing from an individual consultant to a leading full-fledged consulting firm. Making this shift can feel like a giant leap, but with careful planning, dedication, and the right strategy, it's possible to take this leap with confidence, right? I'd like to start by exploring some of the steps that I've taken, those that I found most pivotal during my journey. Okay, so in 2017, when I made the transition out of the corporate world, excuse me, in 2017, when I made the transition out of the corporate world, it should have been terrifying. Um, I was a little nervous, but I was ready. I was also very unaware of what needed to be done. I was very unaware of what I needed to practice, how I needed to present myself, the services that I needed to offer, the way that I needed to market, the plans that I needed to have. All I knew how to do at the time was to provide a service. And it took me years of making mistakes, and it took me years of months of leveraging relationships, and thankfully I had kind of the situational awareness to pick up on this rather quickly and apply what I was doing incorrectly so that I had the ability to make change and correct these mistakes and ultimately evolve so that I can correct this, take the proper course of action, and continue to grow. Right? So it involves shifting gears, embracing new challenges, and ultimately assuming much larger responsibilities. And however, with strategic planning, determination, and the courage to take calculated risks, becoming what I consider to be reasonably successful was more than achievable. So if you're interested in or curious about transitioning from a solopreneur or a consultant to a firm owner or a business owner or running a team of consultants, whether they're your employees or just a team of consultants that you work with, here's what I suggest. Here are a few steps, okay? One of the first steps that I think is most critical, identify your niche. Like I mentioned, when I started this, all I knew was how to deliver a service. Okay? What I mean by identify your niche, this is the area of consulting where you have a wealth of expertise, where you can deliver high value results for clients. This will define your niche. This specialization forms the bedrock of the future of your firm. Gives it a solid direction and makes it 100 times easier to position yourself in the marketplace. This is my experience. And this was the critical decision that set the trajectory for my growth. Now, that might have worked across, in your experience, you might have worked across a number of domains as an individual consultant. However, if you're planning to establish a firm, you need to specialize. But I mentioned a little earlier, I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I came from the corporate world. I was an analyst within the operations department. And when I started consulting, I said, okay, well, I went to my first networking group. It was the Grow Group out of Shelton, Connecticut. And luckily, that group was gracious enough to embrace me and embrace my lack of business, my lack of knowledge of how to run and operate a business. They knew that I was fresh in. They recognized that I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't really know what I was doing. I hadn't identified my niche. And I came to the group saying, I can perform this task as an analyst. I can perform this task with this language using R. I can create this regression analysis. But I didn't say, I can do this for this real estate industry, right? That's what would have differentiated me at the time. That would have been my niche at the time. And that would have helped me position myself as an expert, making it easier for me to attract clients and making myself seem as if I were the top talent in this area or in that room. So I urge you, if you're looking for a niche, right? I urge you, consider where your expertise lies and then select where you can add the most value to focus on establishing your firm in that area. Now, our niche is software. We have a few areas of expertise based on my experience with clients, based on my experience with our partners, strategic partners, specifically Zoho, have said, these are our largest areas. This is what's most in demand in your area, where we think that you have the best fit. Because we all know in my industry, data is data, right? Let's just say, just leave it as it is. Data analysis. Obviously, everyone knows more about one industry, right? But a regression analysis works regardless of what type of data you put into it. But if we tailor this data set and we run this model and we train this model, we can get it very specific for one industry. So if we're talking about training models or automating data sets, it's really just up to me to decide on which industry I'd like to focus on and market myself to, right? And that's defined my trajectory for growth in that area. And I've decided where my expertise lies based on demand. So this is another strategy that I think could help you make that decision so that you can add value and focus on establishing your firm or your area of expertise in that area. And this is what I've done, and that's been my exact experience. And then at that point, once my niche was clear, this is my second. This is another second. This is my second tip for this episode. Okay, the niche is probably this is definitely the most critical decision. But the second tip that I'd like to share that was most impactful for my business: brand development. Okay, now there's a lot of chatter around brand development. Okay, but I've learned a lot about this over the last since 2017. On a high level, now there's some confusion between this, and I want to break it down based on what I've learned. So, on a high level, yes, you need a marketing strategy. Okay. We're talking goals, milestones. How will you get to where you want to be? What will you do? How will you gauge that performance? But how, on a more fundamental level, will you do this from a marketing standpoint, right? Social media, whatever. But what I've learned is that the brand isn't just about a distinctive name or logo or the social media content. It represents your firm's identities, the values, the promises. It's the image that you project to the world, right? Taking the time to build a strong, incredible brand is an investment that pays off for years to come. This is a brand encapsulates the essence of your firm, its values, its mission, the unique selling propositions, the promises that you make to your clients. For me, it was vital to spend time on this because I always confused it with marketing. And it wasn't until I met a number of marketing professionals in the right marketing professionals that told me, no, 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 there's a difference here. It's not just about putting together a fancy logo that looks nice. This is about what does it mean to be a part of your company, or what does it mean for a client to want to work or engage with your company, right? It's vital to spend time on this. I want to create a brand that not only stands out, but that truly represents what my firm is about. So if you're trying to grow, right? As people see this brand develop and support you, continue to grow the marketing effort, right? That's the strategy. People can see the brand develop, they support you, then you continue to grow the marketing effort. And this is what I've done. Things like this, right? I continue to develop the website and make it better. Continue to develop the social content. Maybe I start a podcast like this. I host webinars. I build a following. I have community groups. You can all join these. You can listen to the podcast. You can check out the website. You can go ahead, contact me. Schedule a demo. View our webinars. I have a team of consultants. I'll talk about those people in a minute. What I've done is I've not let anyone tell me I'm doing too much. I put together this whole marketing thing. I make sure that the brand that I've developed is strong. And I make sure that I'm supporting that brand with all of the marketing and the way that I present my company to the community and to my clients. And I make sure that it's a stable foundation, but ultimately building that structure of the right, of a solid and stable brand is crucial. Now, if you want to know more about marketing and branding, don't listen to me. I suggest you check out episode 8 with Ramon Peralta of Peralta Design. He's the local king of branding in the Valley. His He's the local king of branding and marketing in the Valley and an influential member of the community. Um, Great guy. Definitely check out episode 8 of the Disruptive Consulting Podcast. So, all right, next up, people. People. So, attracting, hiring, retaining the right team. This is another vital element of my journey. Notice I said the right team. So, over the years, I've had a number of team members, and I can count on one hand the number that have stayed and have really helped me grow. Those that have delivered the results that I think have helped grow the company the way that it should have been, or supported the company the way that it should have been supported. Now, I don't mean should have been supported as far as pad my bottom line. I mean, like, wanted to be a team member, wanted to embrace the culture, wanted to support the brand, all of these things that were crucial to the business growing in a way that was complementary to what my vision was and what the community's vision was as they saw the way that the company was growing before this individual or these individuals joined the team, right? And as you transition from being a solopreneur or an independent consultant, you'll need to surround yourself with talented individuals who can drive your vision forward, right? Looking for different yet complementary skills to bring to the table. So a diverse team will really enrich your firm with various perspectives and foster innovation, problem solving, and just bring these problem solving skills to the table. And for instance, I don't have any compensation analysis skills. I've never been in human resources in my life, but I have people that do it. So if I have the opportunity to put in a proposal, since we do a lot of government proposals, if I have the opportunity to put in a proposal for a government opportunity that requires compensation analysis, I have the people that can come in and do this. And if I need that person for maybe they know how to solve a problem that I don't, then I call them and I say, hey, uh, Mark, what do you think about this? Right? These are things that help me tremendously. So your team's expertise and dedication will significantly determine the success of your firm. When you're bringing people in, seek out not only the skills and experience, but people that want to support the brand that we mentioned earlier. Simple as that. Next up, network. So let's talk about leveraging network. Um, Leveraging your connections, spread the word about your firm, secure referrals, potentially attract collaborations. Crucial. Crucial. Remember, your network can be one of the greatest assets in this growth phase, but one of the biggest or most um, one of the biggest liabilities if you don't leverage it as an independent consultant. This is my experience. As you grow, never underestimate the power of your network, of the people that you meet. Never underestimate the quality of the people that you meet. If you want to know a bit more about the power of partnerships, you can download our ebook. You can contact, which is called The Power of Partnerships. You can contact me and I'll send you a copy. It was written internally. Um, because ultimately the relationships that you've nurtured will prove to be invaluable during this transition. I know they have for me. This has been my exact experience. And just to highlight a few of my most prominent partnerships, um, we have consultants like Charles Reese from Accelerated Achievement. This gentleman has 50 plus years, 40 plus years experience consulting. Some of that is while he was in the corporate world. He is extremely intelligent. He gave me an opportunity. He was one of my first colleagues, one of the first consultants to collaborate with me. Met him at the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. He had no idea who I was. We swapped information, and one day I thought, you know what? Maybe Charles would be a good partner for this project. And I am so happy that he finally gave me the opportunity to collaborate on that, because Charles has been one of my biggest and best supporters over the years. New people, after I continued to build a network like Charles, new people kept reaching out. And now I've begun to build new strategic partnerships like Yoda Technology. They're out of Houston, Texas, and they're my newest and largest government proposal collaborator. We now bid on software projects, upwards of 10, 20 proposals per month. Uh, I've been able to break into new verticals, new collaborative efforts, marketing. Charlene Chiaro with Clear Vision Agency. We have a virtual events platform that is releasing soon. Custom software development, Zoho, international corporation, all by taking chances on networks, leveraging networks. So, if you are before I wrap that up, and without the risk of going on any more of a tangent, leverage your network. Do not leave that out. Uh, Finally, so perhaps one of this, well, finally, perhaps the most significant change that you will need to navigate in this transition is your mindset. So, transitioning from an independent consultant to a consulting firm owner involves a shift from being a doer to a leader. Now, you're no longer going to be responsible for doing everything, for delivering solutions, or for delivering every solution, right? But you're also going to be responsible for steering the direction of your firm, for leading your team, for making strategic decisions. You'll be stepping back from doing all of the consulting work yourself, and you're going to have to put together marketing plans and strategic and operations and other high level aspects that trickle down in brand awareness, right? It can be challenging, but remember, great leaders are made, not born. And one of the things that we really need to keep in mind is you need to be open to learning, be resilient. Most importantly, believe in yourself and your vision. I personally never stop trying to learn new skills when it comes to my business. How can I do what I pay other people to do? How can I learn to be a better manager? How can I learn to offer new services to my clients or to new clients? How can we as a company learn to take on more work or be more efficient or be more productive or be more effective? Or how can my employees be more efficient individually, or we as a whole be more efficient as a team? I've said it all my life, and I will never stop saying it. If they say I'm going too fast, it's probably because they can't keep up. These are the foundational strategies that I found are involved in transitioning from a consultant to a consulting firm. But how about the experience? Well, from my journey, I can tell you that it's a blend of excitement, trepidation, challenge, and fulfillment. You'll encounter hurdles, face tough decisions, sometimes question your choices. But every step, every setback, every victory has propelled me toward growth. As a leader, as an entrepreneur, as an individual, toward growth. And remember, this transition is not just about growing your business. It's about evolving your vision, scaling your impact, and creating a legacy. So that's it for today's episode of Disruptive Consulting Podcast. For the listeners like me who grew up as lifelong viewers of the late Jerry Springer, here's my final thought. Growth might be uncomfortable, but stagnation, that's unbearable. So take the leap, embrace the journey, and start building your consulting empire. I'm Bryan Tamburrino, and until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.